So this is the problem we're going to try to solve. Very narrow depth of field with a macro lens. We can't get the entire word euros in focus. At f32 we can, but if we actually look closer, it's not all that sharp. And that's a problem at high f-stops. Somewhere in between we can get the bottom edge in focus or the top edge in focus, but not both. We're going to learn a technique where we can combine multiple images, 5 images here, to get what we want. This is a common problem with macro photography. We take these images into Lightroom, looking at them at different f-stops. We've captured at every f-stop available on this lens, going all the way up to f32. As we go up, more and more is in focus. If we compare the lowest with the highest, then of course there's a big difference. But one difference you wouldn't expect necessarily is that if we look very closely, there is a huge difference in the sharpness. At f32 we've lost a lot of sharpness, and this isn't a problem with our technique or the focus of the lens. This is an expected effect at high apertures. So let's look down lower and lower. f18, f16, f14, 13. Down around f11 it starts to look acceptably sharp. Some of the little nicks and things that are completely in focus at 2.8 are also pretty much in focus at f11. This sharpness looks reasonable to me. Now what we're seeing here matches what you should expect. If we go to DxO Mark and look this lens up, we can see that in fact f11 is supposed to be noticeably better than f32, and f8 is slightly better than that even. Looking at the chart, you can see that it drops off pretty quickly after about f11. So let's try something else. Let's shoot a bunch of images at f11, but let's set the focal plane to the front of the coin and move that focal plane back in each successive image all the way across the coin. So now that portion's in focus, but only that portion. Keep moving the focal plane back until now the back edge of the coin is in focus. So now we'll try to find a few images that are in the range that we would like. So here's one image, the front of the word is in focus and the other the back is in focus. And so we have this little span of 5 images. Looking at all of them, it sweeps across the word euros like we like. So now we can take these 5 images into Photoshop and do this focus stacking. This looks like the 5 we really want. So right click and edit in Photoshop as layers. It'll open it as a single Photoshop document now with 5 layers. And these layers look like they're just about perfect. So just double checking here in Photoshop to see that we really have what we want. The front edge is in focus and it moves toward the back edge. Perfect. You can see though as you move from front to back there's a little bit of focus breathing in the lens. And again, the camera didn't move. This is just a normal effect of changing the focal plane. But before we do our magic, we need to align these layers. So just ask Photoshop to auto align the layers and it will shift them around so that they line up perfectly. And now we can see that we can switch between the layers and there's no focus breathing at all. It just nice cleanly sweeps from top to bottom. So now we can auto blend the layers. Choose stack images and I'll go ahead and check the seamless tones and colors. So Photoshop's free to adjust things a little bit to make them match perfectly. This will select portions of each layer and mask off the most in focus pixels. So this layer has just the top portion is most in focus. This layer has just the bottom portion is most in focus. And the 3 layers in between are thin strips of in focus areas. And that is exactly what we want. And I like that as we back away from this image, the word euros is perfectly in focus, but there still is some depth to the image. The front of the coin is out of focus, the back is out of focus, but I really wanted that word euros to be in focus. This worked perfectly.